the conversation of inequality or unequal opportunities for, I mean, like black rappers in these like white Christian markets. It's a conversation that's whispered a lot. But nobody's willing to just say, hey, y'all, look, we've been here for a while. Y'all listen to our music. Y'all been like buying our music. Y'all been buying our CDs. Y'all been downloading our songs and streaming them and whatnot. But we can't never get on y'all stages.
Wow.
And it's like, why?
Let's get the people what they want. The Wade-O Radio Show.
This interview is brought to you by our sponsor, Devin Turner. This MC and pastor is not only putting out great music, but he's doing phenomenal work in his community and abroad. Check out his new album, Luminary, available on all digital outlets. For more info, visit his website at devinturner.org. Of course, it's DJ Wade-O. It's the Wade-O Radio Show. We are backstage at the Sessions Tour in New Jersey.
Thanks for showing up, dog.
With Canon, man. Hey, bro, listen. Hey, hold up, though, bro. I'm going to always show up for you, man, because you showed up for me big time when we first started live at Ja Rockin'. Canon was the first dude to come through when we did live at Ja Rockin'.
Crazy.
That was Mad Haven, bro. That's how long ago that was.
Real talk, I never said this, but ever since then, I had been waiting for another invite, bro. I was like, maybe I said something wrong. Remember, I did something I was supposed to do, but I never got invited back. But, man.
Nah, man.
I appreciate
you. Always got the invite, bro.
I appreciate you, man.
You always got the invite, man. Even when you 50 and on a cane, I don't know if I'm going to still be doing this, but you got the invite.
Thank you, dog. That's love.
Yeah, man. Hey, so your first headlining tour, man.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, bro. I mean, you've obviously toured extensively. You've been everywhere, but
it's just different. I mean, it's nerve-wracking at first because I'm like, man, who gonna come? Who's gonna? Maybe, man, we probably not gonna have a lot of numbers. Just not that many people gonna come out. Probably a lot of people don't know about it. Man, it's not the biggest budgeted tour, but when we working with what we get, like that's how I was thinking at first.
Yeah.
And then I realized like, God has given me an audience that will listen. God has given me an audience that appreciates what I have to say and the music that I make. And man, for people to give so much time and energy to just that, I don't care about the 500 that aren't there. I care about the people that showed up.
Sure. Because
they could have been anywhere else, man. And I mean, it's been great so far, man. I've been enjoying it, man. I've had the opportunity to speak to each individual person that has walked through that door and actually have real conversations with them. Like this tour has been more than just come in, we'll take pictures and autographs, and then y'all bounce and we bounce. Like no, like I've been able to have real conversations with people and hear their stories. So that impacts me more than just like a transactional, hey, how you doing? I love your music, man. Peace, appreciate you. Bye. Like it's been so much more impactful. So I really appreciate this tour.
That meet and greet was lit. Like,
oh man, they didn't even get me started, man. Oh man, it was a couple people up in there that was about to open up a can of worms. I was like, oh man, if I could only just unpack so much of what they're talking about, the topics that they were bringing.
Yeah,
man, I loved it. I enjoyed it. So
hey, so speaking of a can of worms, I wanted to ask you about this can of worms that you opened on Twitter.
They opened it. All I did was smell the worms and was like, y'all know these is worms, right? All I did was just open that mug. I just looked in and
hey, so
there.
I'm gonna read a few of these tweets. We'll put them up on the screen too, so people can see them. But I want to read a few of these and just get your thoughts. You said it's ironic that the culture asks for truth and substance via our music platforms, but when it's given, the culture throws the heaviest stones. Every artist carries a different agenda and a typical conviction, which doesn't always surround a typical gospel-centered conversation. If you spend a real day with me, you see not every moment is about a Bible verse. It may be about other concerns, some political. I'm not one for lowering expectations of the Christian artist. I'm about setting realistic ones. We aren't your pastors. We assist musically. We create conversations about what we should draw attention to and provide insight on the matters. Not every matter will be a sermon, though.
That makes me sound so much better.
Hearing it out loud?
Hearing it out sound in my head. The way it sounded in my head sounded completely different.
What sparked this, though?
I had a conversation with somebody the night before. Was talking about just the industry and just just the different pockets of the Christian industry, and it's funny because it's like the conversation of inequality or unequal opportunities for, I mean, like black rappers in these like white Christian markets. It's a conversation that's whispered a lot. But nobody's willing to just say, hey, y'all, look, we've been here for a while. Y'all listen to our music. Y'all been like buying our music. Y'all been buying our CDs. Y'all been downloading our songs and streaming them and whatnot. But we can't never get on y'all stages.
Wow.
And it's like, why? You know what I'm saying? It's like, why do we have to beat down why we got to convince y'all so much to get here?
And when you say our stages, be specific for cause just the average fan. They're like, well, you know, you're on a tour. I saw you at this festival on this stage over here.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah. When I mean stages, what I mean is, every artist is given a platform. And a platform that we should be able to steward well. However, we have so many artists that work so hard, and are given so much truth. I know a lot of artists who have the most honest and truthful music that it penetrates when you listen. But then I hear some other music that we sing in the churches, and it really just feel like fluff. And I'm like, all right, do we just rotate these songs because they just make us feel good and it's the culture? Or are we just rotating them because we feel like they're safe? And I'm like, man, I'm tired of playing a safe card. And I feel like the industry has gotten so used to the safest amount of music, the safest kind of music, the safest look for the individual. If you have a certain, appearance, I'm like, look, I may not look like you, I may not sound like you, but look, my music still has weighty truth. And I'm like, I question at a certain point now, what do you want? Do you want truthful music? Do you want music that points people back to God? Or do you just want music that feels good? Same songs you're going to hear every Sunday. And so, when I say stages, I mean when we go out and do these shows or try to get on these shows with at festivals and whatnot, and you have the big major stage. Which I guarantee you ain't no black people on. All right. You got the big major stage, the main stage. All right, and then you have the semi-main stage, which is like all of the youth group, all the bands that play at all the youth groups, stay there at that stage. And then you got our stage that may barely have the bare minimum of resources on the stage. And it's like, why is it like that? You know what I'm saying? It's like, do we got to keep proving ourselves? But I'm like, why do we not give the same opportunity of resources at these other platforms? And so, at the end of the day, I'm gonna continue to bring on the issue. But I remember my brother told me, he's like, "Hey, bro, the reality is something I learned. It's like nobody cares. Keep trying. Like nobody cares. Keep going. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, he specifically said, nobody cares. Work harder. You know what I'm saying? And that was the truth. Nobody's gonna care as much as I do about my music getting to where I wanted to go. And I'm just like, work harder or work at it differently. And so. But it is frustrating when you see a divide, even in the Christian market. You know what I'm saying? Award shows, you name it. Like it's a divide. I look around and I'm like, dang, man, like there ain't a lot of people in here. What happened? Like, why not? Dang, I go to some certain churches and I'm like, dang, ain't no black pastors on staff. Dang, wow. Y'all talk a lot about divide. Y'all talk a lot about bringing the culture together, bringing people together, bringing all of God's people together, all races together, but you won't even put a black pastor on your staff. What is And so I say these things because not to stir nothing up, but I'm just like, if we're talking about equality and bringing people to a clearer perspective of what God calls the body, then we have to actually look into the face of the very things that are dividing us. You know what I'm saying? And so people may say all day, like, yo, racism isn't here no more. I'm like, what? Or they may say all day, like, racism isn't the same as it used to be. Things have gotten better. I'm like, yeah, but the ideologies of white supremacy and just the control and the authority that my white brothers and sisters still have, a lot of that is still shown in the very offices and in churches that we have still. And so I'm just like, man, if we're going to be about that life, about racial reconciliation, let's really be about that life. Let's really be about that life invite other artists on those stages. Invite or allow black pastors to pastor predominantly white churches.
Yes.
I'm like, when you see that happen, I'm like, hey, all right, we really making stuff happen. You know what I'm saying? You know, I just hate the feeling that, you know, for the sake of our own freedom, there's a sense of our freedom is given to us. Our opportunities are given to us. It's not like we just have them. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we can just create our own, that we have our own resources to do that. I'm like, man, well, all right, we're going to build our own festivals. All right, well, we're going to build our own stages. We're going to do our own tours. But it's like, we don't want to divide it even more than what it already is. And so at the end of the day, it's like, all right, how do we come together? How do we not only expose the divide that's already there, but how do we create a solution for those who are saying, look, man, I've been performing music, I've been selling CDs, records, I'm out selling records and streaming more than some of your favorite artists right now, but I can't get no love on any of these stages.
Wow.
What else do I got to do? You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, you just question, like, what am I doing?
On?
What am I doing wrong? Yeah. Is it the way I look? You know, like, I mean, you know, you question, all right, are we threats? Are we pets to people? Like, what is that? You know, and so, you know, you just really question a lot of things. I'm in a space right now in my life where I'm just like, I'm calling wrong for what it is, and I'm trying to provide truth and solutions to wherever I can find them. So I know I just said a whole lot, but but the conversation is such a big one, and there's only so much you can say, you know, in such little time. So
I want to read a couple more tweets.
Mm-hmm.
You said if we want hard truths in our content, the community and culture receiving it can't be so wishy-washy about the hard realities we face. I salute the artists finding that freedom and not feeling that they have to live in some pre-made mode of what it means to be a Christian artist. Freedom is saying go, listen to God, and be led by your convictions given by God, not man. So I say this to our culture. Give us our freedom. Let artists be artists and create. Give us space to be 100 without threatening our support. So to the culture, if you want great albums, give us space to have great conversations. Open your doors and put the stones away so that we can talk. That part.
I said a lot.
Yeah, you said a whole lot, bro. Was that the thought process to the fans, or is that the thought process to the industry, the gatekeepers, or was that kind of both?
It was both.
It was both.
It was definitely both. It was to the stakeholders, but also to the consumer.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, stakeholders, you say you want change in your a change in the culture. You want to bring in different kinds of people. You want to change the world, but you won't allow the conversation to happen.
To take place.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you know, in one sense, I forgot who said it. It was a brother of mine I was having a conversation with. I forgot who said it, but he was like, you're willing to talk about how bad drugs are and how bad alcohol is and how bad being unfaithful to your spouse is, but you don't want to talk about injustice?
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about racism?
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want to talk about the stuff that is active and loud today? Like, it's like there's almost a culture created of safe things to talk about that's acceptable. When in reality, it's like, man, what do you do about the narrative of stuff that's happening every day to people? You know what I'm saying? And in that, you know, that's why, I mean, I'm going to be honest. That's why you have a lot of black people feeling like Christianity ain't for them.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people saying, I'm done. Because there's been a culture created where this conversation is not acceptable. Where this conversation, we can't have this conversation because we end up looking like the angry black man, or we end up looking like we hate white people and stuff. And it's like, that's not the case. It's just that why is there, every time we try to bring up this conversation, it's like, oh man, no, you know, you talk, it's you know, it's like, bro, we can move on from this conversation once you acknowledge the fact that this conversation is needed.
Yep.
We can move on once we discuss the things that are continuously happening.
And
it may not happen to you. Right, you know what I'm saying? It's like it may not happen to you, but it happens to a group of people.
Yep.
And, you know, my goal is to at least start the conversation so that we can find solutions after the conversation. So, but yeah, that was to the consumer and to the, you know, to the stakeholders. You gotta let people talk.
Yeah. And
you gotta give room for that kind of truth. If not, then it's just like, well, I guess you really don't want the truth.
Hey, family, thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave us a comment. Would love to hear your thoughts on what we were just discussing. Also, if you want to book me for your next event, whether you got a concert, a party, a youth function, a corporate event, whatever it is, send us an email. It's booking@wadeoradio.com. I'd love to DJ your next event.